got Dejanay, who is a shitster. There's no other way to say this, and that's where the issue.
The Indiana Fever have seen their share of ups and downs, but this season brought something unexpected. Controversy swirling around one of their brightest stars, NaLyssa Smith. Once hailed as a cornerstone of the franchise's future, Smith now finds herself entangled in an intense drama that has left fans, analysts, and even her teammates wondering about her future with the team.
As the Fever prepare to return to the court tonight after the Olympic break, the push for the playoffs is on.
Yeah, tonight WRTV's Adam Schoombs introduces us to NaLyssa Smith's family and shows us the strength of their family bond on and off the court.
What happened to the promising young star, and what does it mean for her career and the Fever's plans? Ready for the next big story? Subscribe and dive into every epic twist with us. Chapter 1, A Vision Without NaLyssa. The Fever's long-awaited rebuild was underway when Stephanie White took the reins. A respected coach with a reputation for discipline and strategy, White promised to lead the franchise into a new era. After years of underperformance, fans were desperate for a turnaround. Media hype built up the Fever's young core, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and yes, NaLyssa Smith, as the answer to their playoff drought. But at White's inaugural press conference, as she laid out her vision for the team's future, NaLyssa's name was conspicuously absent. This was no slip of the tongue.
Positively about Stephanie White being hired, and that is NaLyssa Smith.
Speculation spread like wildfire. Had White purposely left Smith out as a subtle statement? Was this a veiled critique of her commitment, or was it a warning shot? A challenge to prove her dedication to the team's culture? As interviews continued, White spoke passionately about building the franchise around high-character players, team-first values, and a relentless work ethic. To some, it sounded like a coach setting new standards. To others, it sounded like a coach telling her most mercurial player to shape up.
We saw nothing from the players that are free agents, like Kelsey Mitchell, Erica Wheeler, and stuff. But there is one player that we're like, oh, will she even be on the team next year?
Or ship out. Chapter 2, A TikTok Bombshell. Then came the TikTok. NaLyssa Smith, known for her playful social media presence, had always used platforms like TikTok and Instagram to connect with fans and show her unfiltered self. But when she posted a video with her girlfriend poking fun at Caitlin Clark's recent eye injury, she misjudged the public mood. Clark, widely celebrated as one of the future stars of women's basketball, was rumored to be a potential draft pick for the Fever. For Smith to joke about an injury, even in jest, felt to some fans like she was mocking a teammate before Clark had even joined the team. The reaction was immediate. Twitter lit up with both support and condemnation. To some, it was a harmless joke, a playful nudge between athletes.
Basketball at UTSA, and then he also went overseas and played basketball in Australia, Philippines, and Honduras, and Mexico for a little bit.
But to others, it revealed a disregard for team chemistry. The Fever, trying to establish a positive culture, couldn't afford unnecessary drama. Media outlets picked up the story, spinning it as a feud between Smith and Clark. Rumors of tension in the Fever locker room intensified. It was no longer just a social media post. It became a symbol of NaLyssa Smith's attitude, her commitment, and her place on the team. Chapter 3, On-Court Struggles and a Rising Rift. On the court, Smith's game mirrored her off-court controversies. Known for her offensive prowess, her shooting suddenly became erratic. Her once impressive stats dropped, her defensive lapses became more noticeable, and she often looked out of sync with her teammates. As the Fever's net rating dropped with Smith on the court, critics speculated that the distractions were affecting her focus. For Coach White, who emphasized a next player up mentality, Smith's struggles became a dilemma. How could she incorporate a player who wasn't meeting the demands of the team's new philosophy?
She ran track and did a lot of cheerleading on chat where whatever's going on with all of us, we'll go in our little chat and we'll talk trash to each other and mess around and crack jokes and send videos.
White wanted her team to fight every possession, make every play count, and operate as a unit. But Smith's inconsistency raised a question. Was she unwilling to buy into this system or simply unable to adjust? Fans began to notice something strange during games. Smith often seemed isolated during timeouts, interacting less with teammates and coaches than usual. Whispers of friction between her and Coach White grew louder. Some even speculated that White was actively trying to freeze Smith out of the system. The narrative was set. NaLyssa Smith, the once promising face of the franchise, was slowly becoming a misfit. Chapter 4, Family Drama and Cryptic Message. If the TikTok controversy and on-court struggles weren't enough, Smith's family fueled the fire. Her brother frequently clashed with fans on Twitter, defending NaLyssa and attacking critics.
Her game. She's more than just points.
She absolutely is. I mean, let's not forget, this is a young woman who led the nation. And Mitchell, I think, had the best year of her career. It's just an exciting roster. What an outstanding moment we have in women's basketball right now.
Some fans empathized, but others felt that his confrontational posts were making matters worse. Meanwhile, her mother took to Facebook, questioning the coach's rotations and expressing frustration with Smith's role on the team. For the Fever, this was a nightmare scenario. The last thing a rebuilding franchise needs is off-court distractions. Fans were split. Some defended Smith's family, arguing that they had a right to support her, but others felt that it reflected poorly on Smith's professionalism. The franchise's attempts to control the narrative fell flat as family members' social media posts became fodder for fan debates.
Smith has said that the league is going to lose about $50 million. Is there a scenario that you will try to raise more money right now?
Probably not. We probably don't need to raise capital like we did back in when I came in 2020, started assessing raising capital. But I think it's more about the impact we're able to have on bringing in corporate partners at valuations that are worthy of now our viewership, our attendance. And I think corporates are seeing that, wow, if I want to get with a consumer brand and a growth property, and I want to get to women and women of color, we're 80% women of color, WNBA might be a place where I would allocate my discretionary capital. I'm not sure if we didn't raise that capital, I'm not sure we would have been ready for this moment.
Amid the noise, Smith's own social media posts grew increasingly cryptic. Tweets like, "Knowing when to let go is as important as knowing when to hold on," made fans question her intentions. Was she implying a desire to leave the team? Then, in a move that shocked her followers, Smith wiped her Instagram account of any mention of the Fever. The action was seen as a bold, if silent, statement. Was Smith on her way out? Was she subtly hinting at a trade? Or was this simply an emotional response to mounting pressure?
You have a core three like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well.
Chapter 5, The Trust Factor and Rumors of Leaks. As the controversy snowballed, rumors surfaced that sent shockwaves through the organization. Some suggested that Smith had leaked confidential team information to a player on a rival team, a close friend with whom she shared frequent conversations. While nothing was confirmed, the possibility cast a shadow over her reputation. If true, it would mean not only disloyalty to the Fever, but a disregard for the trust that her teammates and coaches had placed in her. For Coach White, who had built her entire coaching philosophy around unity, trust, and a team-first mentality, these rumors were nothing short of a disaster. Was Smith truly someone the team could rely on? Or was she a divisive force whose actions threatened to fracture the foundation White was trying so hard to build?
I think we have a common goal. I think our visions are aligned. I think the way we go about our work is aligned, and it's consistent. And you're going to have consistency, and you need consistency.
The stakes were now higher than ever, with Smith's presence seeming less like an asset and more like a ticking time bomb. Chapter 6, The Franchise's Gamble. As the Fever's season continued to spiral, the front office faced an impossible decision. Should they trade Smith and cut their losses, or invest in helping her find her way back? Trading Smith meant they could focus on developing a roster without her drama, but letting go of such a promising talent could come back to haunt them if she blossomed on another team. Every franchise dreams of drafting players like Smith, but sometimes, even the most talented athletes bring challenges too big to overcome. For Smith, a trade might offer a fresh start, a chance to rebuild her image and refocus her career. But would another team want to take on the risk, especially with her recent actions casting a shadow? The Fever were already rumored to be exploring potential trades.
Tell them not to go overseas if that's what they want to do for them and their family. But, if you look at the 10, 11, 12th player on the bench who doesn't get a lot of playing time in the WNBA, wants to make a roster the following year, they probably need to go play in the offseason.
And a handful of teams had shown mild interest. But each conversation with prospective teams reportedly raised the same question. Could Smith be trusted? In Indiana, fans were divided. Some believed she deserved another shot, while others felt it was time to cut ties. Each game, each practice, seemed to add another layer to the saga. How would the Fever's management handle this fragile situation? Was there...
Damn it, in the first 2 minutes of this game, this Dejanay Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye. There was no foul call. There was no real discussion of it on the ESPN broadcast.
Path forward, or was a breakup inevitable? Chapter 7. A league watching closely beyond Indiana, the entire WNBA was watching the NaLyssa Smith saga with intense interest. As the league's popularity surged, its players had become icons, role models, and influencers in a way previous generations hadn't. Social media gave them a voice, but it also brought scrutiny. For the WNBA, Smith's story represented a broader dilemma. How does the league balance players' freedom of expression with the need to protect team chemistry and professionalism? Some analysts saw Smith's journey as a cautionary tale for the league's young stars. Others argued that she was being unfairly targeted, a victim of the league's growing pains and the challenges that come with increased visibility. Fans around the league debated, was Smith simply a flawed individual under a harsh spotlight, or was she a player who needed to reevaluate her priorities? Chapter 8. The final countdown. The clock was ticking. The Fever's management knew they had to make a decision, and soon.
There's been some speculation that there might have known our play calls and all that kind of thing on the Indiana Fever team.
If they kept Smith, they'd need to address the underlying issues and reestablish her place in the team's culture. If they traded her, they risked losing a player who could potentially shine elsewhere. The tension reached a boiling point when, in a crucial game against a playoff-bound team, Smith had her best performance of the season, scoring 30 points and playing with an intensity she hadn't shown in weeks. Was this her redemption, or was it a final showcase before the inevitable trade? In the locker room after the game, Smith reportedly gave a short, cryptic interview. When asked about her future, she simply smiled and said, "I'm just here to play ball." The media ran wild with the ambiguity. Was she committing to the Fever, or subtly hinting that she'd soon be playing elsewhere?
Big opportunity to be a part of this rising tide that we're all experiencing. And everybody in this company's all in. Everybody in this city's all in.
As rumors of a potential trade deadline deal intensified, the Fever's front office remained silent, fueling further speculation. Fans on social media dissected every interview, every action, and every post, trying to determine the truth. It was clear that the Fever's decision would not only affect Smith's career, but could shape the team's future for years to come. Epilogue. The decision. Finally, after weeks of speculation, the announcement came.
I can't think of a time in my lifetime that I've ever felt that type of movement.
Something that you dream about, and playing in front of these crowds and these
elected officials, corporate, private equity, everybody like, how do I get into the WNBA and how do I invest, and can I have an expansion team, or can I invest in a current team? The comparisons to men's leagues are always tough for a league that's only 28 years old. The NBA is 78 years old.
In a carefully worded statement, the Fever's management revealed their decision. The basketball world held its breath. Would NaLyssa Smith find redemption with a renewed commitment to Indiana, or had the Fever's gamble run its course, leading to a trade? Either way, the outcome of this saga would leave a lasting impact.
We've got players making significant endorsements who had 0 endorsements back in 2019 when I joined this league. They wouldn't have any of those opportunities if they didn't have this league to play in.
Not only on Smith and the Fever, but on the league as a whole. Only time would tell if NaLyssa Smith's story would be one of redemption or regret. And as the dust settled, one thing became clear. This was far from over. Fans, players, and analysts alike would watch closely, wondering what the next chapter of NaLyssa Smith's career would hold.